Let's take a look at the outlook for Thursday, May 8th. You can see everyone's got a risk of at least general thunderstorms. That moves up to a marginal tier 1 out of 5 risk once you get to the I-95 corridor and areas to the west. And then it steps up to a slight tier 2 once you kind of get more or less to the west of Greensboro, including Charlotte, upstate South Carolina, and all those communities in western North Carolina. And we should make mention that this then rolls over to the next day, Friday, where we have then a marginal risk, again, a tier 1 out of 5 for most of North Carolina and South Carolina, a little bit of lesser threat there on the western half, I guess, as this, kind of moves out. It's kind of a late night situation, is it not, Brad?
Yeah, I think it's a really interesting setup. It's a little bit of a northwest flow event, coming in with this front. And typically in the
Those are
Carolinas,
always
when
tricky.
we get these elevated mixed layers. This has got hail written all over it, if you ask
Yeah.
me, with some of these cells. And then anytime you get hail, you got the same kind of parameters for downbursts, right? And bow echoes and kind of stuff. So don't be surprised if you see these little small cells forming in Tennessee in the afternoon, and they come down here maybe after sunset and they produce hail, because I think that's going to be really interesting. And there's some indications it could evolve into an MCS, which is a complex of thunderstorms. And that's typical of northwest flow too. Sometimes these storms cluster together and you get, this northwest flow, you get some mesoscale convective systems, we call it. It's really been an interesting pattern this week, with the cutoff lows, the omega block, and then a Rex block. I think I said this several times, even last week. I'm like, man, next week is going to be a tough forecast, because there's so much uncertainty when things aren't moving in the atmosphere with like cutoff lows and blocking. It's hard to calculate, no matter how good the model is. If nothing's moving, there's no forward motion to calculate into predictions, and so you have a real tough time. So even today, like, I got caught off guard a little bit by the little band of showers that came over us. Thought we'd just see drizzle or something. We had a pretty good little shield of light or moderate rain that kind of flared up and then moved through and out. And that was a little bit of a surprise. And I think that kind of indicative of the kind of pattern we're in right now.
Yeah, Frank, what are you watching?
Well, once we get past the severe weather risk of the next couple of days, or actually not even the next couple of days starting tomorrow, we also have to worry about excessive rainfall. Like Brad says,
Sure.
Things aren't going to be really moving all that much, so we're in for an extended period of wet weather. Here's the excessive rainfall look for tomorrow, day 2, Thursday. And you see essentially the I-77/US 321 corridor in west is where we're concerned about some isolated flash flooding concerns, where we can see repeated downpours or slow moving, or both. As we go into Friday, that shifts down to where we'll have a stationary front, mostly over the low country of South Carolina. But as that retreats northward, going into Saturday, that area of heavy rain risk spreads northward and then covers most of South Carolina as we go into Monday. We're actually happy about the idea of getting some rain in this part of the state, because that's the area that's in a more significant drought right now. But the potential is there for it to come down too hard, too fast. We end up with flash flooding in a few places.
Yeah, we'll have to keep an eye on that.